How often do you watch television?
I used to watch television almost every day. However, these days I'm not getting enough time to watch it every day. So I would say these days my frequency of watching television is about 2 or 3 days a week, unless there is a cricket match going on, which is of a great interest to me. So I kind of glue to the television whenever there is a cricket match.
Okay. Why did you want to start? What kinds of television programs are most popular in your country?
In my country, sports are very famous, especially the cricket is the most famous one. Besides sports, pardon me, uh, movies are also famous. There are different kind of movies for different genres and for different languages. So people kind of watch movies. If you're talking about household women, they kind of prefer television serials. It's like web series that we have in Amazon Prime, etc. So we have the series of television serials, and household women like those kind of things. Besides all these programs, people actually have a lot of interest in politics. So there are a lot of news channels that are currently in India. It used to be like one or two earlier, but these days there are a lot of news channels with different languages, and there are a lot of debate programs that they run, which interest the people to see the perspective of different people.
Is there anything you would like to change about television in your country?
I can think of one specific change that I would prefer to see happening in my country, and that is reduction of movies, the number of movies that are aired in television.
Okay.
These days, there is a lot of movies, and by movies, I'm not referring to any documentary or any subject-related ones, but the commercial ones. These days, they're more frequent. Because they're more frequent, people are not thinking about the other options that they might have in other channels, and they're getting biased towards these movies, because of which the television, which can be used for also general knowledge or for awareness, I think that is going down because of these commercial aspects. So if I could change one, I would limit the airing of movies.
Okay. So I want you to describe a restaurant you enjoyed going to. So you should say where this restaurant was, who you went with, what type of food you ate in this restaurant, and explain why you thought the restaurant was good.
I can write on this. Last Friday, I and my colleague were thinking about going for a good dinner before we head into the weekend. We decided to try the Fire and Water restaurant, which is next to the office building. So by 7 p.m., we went to the restaurant, and we were greeted very well by the staff over there, and we were given a two-seater. We went through the menu options over there, and we found that there was a huge spread of Indian and continental options in the menu. My friend wanted to try the quesadilla, which is a Mexican food, but but I wanted to try an Indian biryani, and I went with the prawn shrimp biryani. The food was served to us in about 10 minutes time, which I think is relatively faster, and the food was served hot and fresh to us. Uh, the server was very courteous, and he made sure that we get everything that is required for each of our dish. We went through our dinner, and we realized that we have made the right decision after tasting our each dishes. The shrimp biryani was excellent because it had the right mix of pepper, salt, and spice, which I prefer. And the shrimps were large in size. I think they are called king size prawns. They tasted very good as well. I was curious to know if it was just my dish which was very good, so I inquired my colleague about the quesadillas. He had only one thing to say. This was one of the best quesadillas that he had after he had the last one in the US. Okay. So that gave me an impression that this restaurant serves not only good Indian food, but also good continental food as well. The reason I like this restaurant is not just because of the good food, but as I mentioned in the beginning, the staff was very courteous and they were well organized and professional. The prices was little on the higher side, but I think we can pay that amount for the kind of professionalism and the kind of quality of food that they have served.
Ah,
Overall, it was a great experience for us to have visited that place. We cannot wait to suggest this place to others for another sumptuous meal.
good. Do you think that people eat healthier food than they did in the past?
I think these days, some section of people have becoming health conscious. There could be various reasons for that, uh, but whatever the reasons are, there are definitely some section of people who focus more on eating healthy. As a result, what they're trying to do these days is follow a diet plan. One of the reasons for this diet plan is obesity, being lethargic, which is actually impacting their active social life and active professional life. So people are proactively trying to make sure that by having a proper diet plan, they can counter these issues and be fitter and healthier. Hence, I believe that definitely some section of people are showing more interest towards a healthy diet plan. Having said that, there are other section of people who are paying less attention. It could be because they are not aware of the advantages of following a diet plan, or it could be because they are not having enough availability or opportunity to focus on these things.
No. How important do you think it is for families to eat meals together?
I would personally prefer to have a meal with my family. So, in my view, it would be a great experience or a great habit rather to have a meal with the family. These days, with the busy life and with the hectic work schedules for each of the person, be it a student, be it a working person, the number of hours that people are spending at home has shrunk. Hence, the common place where everyone can get together and share some good personal space is having food together. It might be difficult to take personal time out of everyone's schedule to meet at a certain time. So meal is something which everyone need to have. So how about having the meal at the same time so that people can spend time together as well?
Okay. What effects has modern technology had on the food we eat?
Technology is good. It is definitely good. But the same technology can be used in different ways. The main purpose of technology is to help the humans. One of the advantages is in the food business. With the technology, growing of the vegetables or fruits can be expedited. We can have modern technologies in which we can actually have good food which can be served to the people. However, if you think from the businessman standpoint, the same technology sometimes can be used to reap profits rather than to help the humans. As a result, some of the greedy businessmen try to artificially grow some of the vegetables or fruits which actually adulterates the quality of food, which is not good for the humans. So it depends completely on the person who is using the technology. Technology is always a useful thing. However, if not used in a proper way, can impact the human.
No, no. Okay, let's talk about restaurants. Why do people go to restaurants when they want to celebrate important occasions?
Whenever there is an occasion, we have to find a place which can accommodate a large group of people. Not everyone will have a huge house or a big hall which can accommodate large gathering. Hence, people tend to look for opportunities or places which can host a large gathering. Restaurants are one places where people can uh, people can go at their convenient time. It can accommodate large amount of people. There is no restriction on the timings, and it could be at a common place which could be equidistant for most of the people. So keeping all this in mind, I think gatherings at a restaurant are beneficial for everyone, for the common interest of the entire population, rather hosting at someone's place.
Okay. Um, do you think that food prepared at home is always better than in restaurants?
There is always a healthy discussion whether the food at home is better or the food at restaurant is.
Mhm.
While the taste of the food at the restaurant always looks like dominating the taste at home, it is always considered that the food at the home is healthier.
Mhm.
The most important reason being food cooked at home is used with natural and proper ingredients. At the restaurant, we never know. It depends on the type of the restaurant and the quality of ingredients that are used. Also, food at home can be tailor-made for the requirements of the people at home. Restaurant doesn't cater to each and every person. They kind of go with a generalized approach which suits best for their skill set. Hence, I believe food at home is always an advantage. But from the taste standpoint, the restaurant food looks more interesting. Having said that, too much of home food or too much of restaurant will crave for everyone to go to the other option.
Okay. Which are more popular in your country? Fast food restaurants or traditional restaurants? And why do you think so?
People are always interested in fast food, isn't it? They crave for fast food. It's easy to grab. They're readily available, and people also describe it as junk food. Or, however, they still latch on to those things. However, what I have seen in the recent past is there's a huge demand and interest towards traditional restaurants. People have understood that too much of junk food is not good for health. People have started to think about their health, have become relatively more health conscious. As a result, the businessman has started to think, how can I still attract the customer to the restaurant when they have realized that eating outside or eating at fast food is not good? That's where the businessman has come up with the idea of traditional restaurants. The traditional restaurants are not the kind of fast food centers. They replicate the style of homemade cooking, yet maintain the ambience of a restaurant.
Mhm.
People have started to believe that this is the best of the both worlds. Hence, the traditional restaurants are in good demand compared to the fast foods these days.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.